Have you ever stopped to think about the dizzying speed at which we live? It feels like the entire world is in a constant race, a marathon with no finish line. We receive instant notifications, replies in seconds, deliveries in minutes. We've been conditioned to believe that fast is synonymous with efficient, that immediate is synonymous with success. But what if I told you that one of the greatest sources of wisdom, strength, and inner peace lies in the exact opposite? What if the true mastery of life isn't found in accelerating, but in knowing how to wait? Imagine for a moment the serenity of a centuries-old tree. It doesn't hurry to grow, nor does it fight against the seasons. It simply is present in its own time, sinking its roots deep into the earth as its branches reach for the sky, at the pace nature has set for it. We, human beings, have forgotten that we are also part of this nature. We've forgotten that there is a time to plant, a time to nurture, and a time to harvest. In our eagerness to pick the fruit before it ripens, we often end up destroying the harvest itself. Impatience is the voice of fear whispering in our ear. Fear of losing out, fear of not being enough, fear that the future won't be as we planned. And every time we give in to this voice, we surrender a piece of our power, our peace. Stoicism, that ancient and yet so relevant philosophy, teaches us that wisdom is not in controlling external events, for that is impossible, but in mastering our reaction to them. And knowing how to wait is the most sublime of reactions. It is an act of trust. Trust in the process, trust in the universe, and above all, trust in yourself. In our journey today, we will dive deep into the art of knowing how to wait. We will uncover why we have become so impatient and the price we pay for it. We will explore how patience can transform our relationships, our careers, and, most importantly, our relationship with ourselves. Are you ready to slow down? Are you ready to discover the strength that exists in the pause, in the silence, in the waiting? If you are seeking a life with more meaning, less anxiety, and more clarity, this content was made for you. So take a deep breath, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. Because today we will learn together that the greatest wisdom is not in forcing the river to run faster, but in learning to navigate its natural flow. The anatomy of impatience. Why have we lost the ability to wait? To understand the power of patience, we first need to dissect the monster of impatience that lives within us. Where does it come from? Why does it seem to have grown so much in recent decades? The answer is complex and multifaceted, but it begins with the environment we have created for ourselves. We live in the age of instant gratification. Technology, which should be our tool, has in many ways become our master. With a single click, we have access to a universe of information, entertainment, and products. Want to watch a movie? Streaming offers us thousands of options instantly. Want food? Apps deliver it to our door in under an hour. Want an answer? Google provides it in a fraction of a second. This constant training for the immediate has rewired our brains. We have created an unrealistic expectation that everything in life should operate with the same speed and efficiency as an algorithm. The problem is that the most important things in life, love, trust, personal growth, healing, mastering a skill, do not operate on the logic of a click. They operate on the logic of cultivation. They require time, dedication, and above all, patience. The toxic productivity or hustle culture also fuels this impatience. We are bombarded with messages that we should always be doing, always producing, always optimizing our time. Rest is seen as laziness and waiting as a waste of time. This mentality places us in a state of perpetual anxiety. We feel that if we are not running, we are falling behind. But where are we running to in such a hurry? Often we run in circles, exhausting our energy in pursuit of a destination that never seems to arrive, simply because we don't give ourselves time to draw the map correctly. Another crucial factor is social comparison, exacerbated by social media. We scroll through an infinite feed of others' successes, of achievements that seem to have happened overnight. We see the stage but we ignore the backstage. We see the harvest but we don't see the long, arduous years of planting. This distorted view of reality creates in us a sense of urgency and inadequacy. Why did he succeed and I haven't? Why does her life seem so perfect while mine is stagnant? This comparison is poison for the soul, as it makes us believe that our journey is delayed when, in fact, every journey has its own unique timeline. There is no late or early in life, there is only your time. The cost of this impatience is extremely high. Physically, it manifests as chronic stress, muscle tension, sleep problems, and even heart disease. Mentally, it generates anxiety, frustration, anger, and an inability to enjoy the present moment. We are always in the future, focused on the result we want to achieve, and we miss the beauty of the process, of the journey. We make hasty decisions, whether in business, relationships, or finances, because the anguish of waiting becomes unbearable. And in the end, this rush to achieve happiness is precisely what prevents us from being happy here and now. Recognizing the origin of this impatience is the first step to freeing ourselves from it. It is understanding that we were not born impatient, we were conditioned to be. And if it was conditioning, it can be reversed. Waiting as Stoic wisdom, controlling the uncontrollable. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism becomes an invaluable compass. One of the most fundamental lessons from philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius is the dichotomy of control. They teach us that, in the universe, there are things we can control and things we cannot. We can control our thoughts, our judgments, our actions, and our reactions. We cannot control the weather, the economy, the opinions of others, and crucially, the passage of time. Impatience, in its essence, is a futile and painful struggle against the uncontrollable. It is the attempt to force time to bend to our will. It is wanting the seed to sprout in a day, the wound to heal in an hour, love to mature in one date. The Stoics would tell us that this is not only irrational, it is a recipe for suffering. True wisdom is not in fighting against reality, but in accepting it and working with it. From a Stoic perspective, knowing how to wait is a practical exercise of the dichotomy of control. It means focusing all our energy on what is within our reach. While we wait for a promotion, we can control our effort, the quality of our work, the development of new skills. While we wait for a relationship to deepen, we can control our ability to be a good listener, our honesty, our vulnerability, and our support. While we wait for healing from an illness, we can control our adherence to treatment, our lifestyle habits, and especially our mental attitude. Waiting ceases to be an agonizing void and transforms into a space for focused action. This is what we can call active waiting. It is not a passive wait with folded arms, expecting fate to solve everything. It is an engaged wait, where we use the interval of time to prepare ourselves, to strengthen ourselves, to become the person who needs to be ready when the opportunity finally arrives. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is a profoundly transformative idea. The wait, which seems like an obstacle, can become the very path to growth. The time you spend waiting for a result may be the exact time you need to mature, to learn a vital lesson, to develop the resilience that will be necessary to handle success when it comes. Think of the Chinese bamboo tree. After the seed is planted, you see nothing for almost 5 years. Absolutely nothing. All the growth happens underground, where a complex root structure is being formed. During these 5 years, an impatient farmer might give up, dig up the seed, and declare it dead. But the wise farmer continues to water and care for the soil, because he trusts the process. And then after 5 years, the bamboo emerges from the ground and grows over 80 feet in just 6 weeks. Life is often like the Chinese bamboo. The most important growth is invisible and silent. Knowing how to wait is trusting the formation of your roots. Patience in relationships, the art of cultivating real connections. If there is one area of life where impatience causes monumental damage, it is in human relationships. We try to apply the logic of efficiency and speed to something that is, by nature, organic, complex, and unpredictable: the human heart. We want instant intimacy, immediate trust, and conflict resolution in a single conversation. This rush doesn't build bridges, it burns them. Knowing how to wait in a relationship means, first and foremost, giving the other person the space to be who they are, in their own time. Each individual has their own story, their own wounds, their own pace for opening up and trusting. Forcing someone to go faster than they are ready for is an act of emotional violence. Patience, in this context, is a form of respect. It is telling the other person, "I see you. I respect your time. I am here, present, while you navigate your own journey." Think of a deepening friendship. It is not built in a weekend. It is woven thread by thread, with honest conversations, shared experiences, support in difficult times, and celebrations in moments of joy. Each interaction is a thread added to this tapestry. Impatience would be like trying to weave too quickly, creating knots and holes, resulting in a fragile fabric that tears at the first sign of tension. Patience is the steady, gentle hand of the artisan who knows that the quality of the work lies in the time and care dedicated to it. In romantic love, patience is even more crucial. In the initial phase of infatuation, everything is intense and accelerated. But the transition from infatuation to sustainable love, to partnership, is a process that requires calm and maturity. It requires patience to deal with the other's imperfections and our own, patience to navigate the inevitable conflicts, patience to understand that love is not a constant state of euphoria, but a daily decision to care, respect, and grow together. When we are impatient, we interpret a bad day as the end of the relationship, a flaw as an unforgivable character trait, a moment of silence as disinterest. Patience gives us the perspective to understand that relationships, like the weather, have their seasons. Patience is also fundamental in communication. How many times, in an argument, are we more concerned with formulating our response than with truly listening to what the other person is saying? Impatience makes us terrible listeners. We interrupt, jump to conclusions, and react instead of responding. Assertive and empathetic communication requires a pause. It requires waiting for the other to finish, processing what was said, and only then expressing our point of view with clarity and respect. This small pause can be the difference between a fight that creates wounds and a dialogue that strengthens the connection. And perhaps most difficult of all, knowing how to wait means having patience with another's healing process. When someone we love is suffering, our instinct is to want to fix the problem quickly. But pain, grief, disappointment have their own timeline. Healing cannot be rushed. True help often is not in giving solutions, but in simply sitting beside the person in silence, offering our patient presence and unconditional support. It is a profound act of love to say, "It's okay not to be okay. Take all the time you need. I will be here." The rhythm of growth, patience in career and personal development. Our journey of growth, whether professional or personal, is another area where patience is an indispensable and often forgotten virtue. We live under the tyranny of the overnight success, one of the greatest fallacies of our culture. We admire the athlete on the podium, the entrepreneur on the magazine cover, the artist with the acclaimed work, and we rarely stop to consider the decades of invisible effort that got them there. Knowing how to wait in personal development is, first and foremost, about being patient with yourself. It's understanding that changing habits, overcoming traumas, and developing new skills are not events, they are processes. You don't become a calmer, more disciplined, or more confident person by reading a book or watching a video. You become that person through daily, consistent practice, with countless stumbles and fresh starts along the way. Impatience with oneself manifests as harsh self-criticism. When we try to meditate and our mind wanders, impatience says, "You're no good at this." When we try to start exercising and miss a day, impatience says, "You're a failure." When we make a mistake on a new project, impatience says, "You'll never learn." Patience, on the other hand, is the voice of self-compassion. It says, "It's okay, minds wander. Let's try again tomorrow." One missed day doesn't invalidate a week's progress. Making mistakes is part of learning. What can we learn from this? Patience is the difference between giving up at the first hurdle and persevering until mastery is achieved. In our careers, this wisdom is just as vital. Young professionals often enter the workforce with a tremendous anxiety to climb the ladder, to reach leadership positions and high salaries in record time. This haste can lead to constant job hopping, a lack of deep expertise in any specific area, and chronic frustration. Patience in a career means understanding the value of building a solid foundation. It means spending enough time in a role to truly master it, to understand the nuances of the business, to build trusting relationships with colleagues and mentors. It is the apprentice's principle. No master became a master without first spending years as an apprentice, humbly learning the craft, sweeping the workshop floor if necessary, absorbing every drop of knowledge. Waiting for the right opportunity instead of jumping at the first one that appears is also an act of professional wisdom. Impatience makes us accept jobs that don't align with our values or long-term goals, simply out of fear of standing still. Patience gives us the clarity and confidence to say no to good opportunities so that we can be available for the excellent opportunity that is yet to come. It's a game of long-term vision versus short-term gratification. Remember the metaphor of the sculptor. He doesn't create a masterpiece with a single blow of the hammer. He spends hours, days, months patiently removing tiny chips of stone. Each blow seems insignificant on its own, but the sum of thousands of patient and precise blows reveals the beauty that was hidden within the rough block. Your career, your character, your life are that block of marble. Every day of study, every completed project, every piece of feedback received, every corrected mistake is a hammer blow. Don't be discouraged if the statue doesn't appear immediately. Trust the process. Keep sculpting. Practical strategies for cultivating the patience muscle. Talking about the beauty of patience is inspiring, but how can we, in practice, cultivate this virtue in a world that conspires against it? Patience is not an innate personality trait. It is a skill, a muscle that can and must be trained. Here are some concrete strategies to begin this training. The first and most powerful tool is the practice of mindfulness. Impatience lives in the future, in the anxious anticipation of what is to come. Mindfulness anchors us in the only moment that truly exists, the now. When you find yourself in a waiting situation, be it in a bank line, in traffic, or waiting for an important email, instead of grabbing your phone to distract yourself or letting your mind spiral into frustration, use that moment as a training exercise. Focus on your breath. Feel the air entering and leaving your lungs. Notice the sounds around you without judgment. Feel your feet on the ground. By doing this, you transform a moment of passive, agonizing waiting into a moment of active, peaceful presence. You teach your brain that it is safe and even pleasant to simply be without the need to do. The second strategy is to change your perspective on waiting time. Instead of seeing it as lost time, see it as gained time. A delayed flight is not a catastrophe. It is an unexpected opportunity to read that book you never have time to open. A traffic jam is not hell. It is a chance to listen to an interesting podcast or simply enjoy a moment of silence. When you reframe waiting as an opportunity, frustration dissipates. Always carry a book, a notebook, or have a list of interesting audios on your phone. Be prepared to turn dead time into growth time. The third technique is to practice delaying gratification on a small scale. We live in a want-it-now culture. Start introducing deliberate small pauses. Finished an episode of your favorite series? Instead of immediately clicking next episode, wait until the next day. Saw something online you want to buy? Put it in the cart, but wait 24 or 48 hours before completing the purchase. These small acts of self-control strengthen the patience muscle and help you break free from the impulse of immediacy. You begin to realize that the desire diminishes and that you have control over your wants, not the other way around. The fourth strategy is to zoom out or broaden your perspective. When you are impatient about something, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? What about in 1 year? What about in 1 month? In the vast majority of cases, the things that cause us immense frustration in the present moment are incredibly insignificant in the grand scheme of our lives. A small delay, a silly mistake, a reply that doesn't arrive. By placing the situation in a broader time perspective, its emotional charge decreases dramatically, and patience becomes a logical and natural response. Finally, connect with nature. Nature is the greatest teacher of patience. Watch a spider weave its web, a flower bloom, the tides rise and fall. Nothing in nature hurries, yet everything is accomplished. Spending time in natural environments reminds us that we are part of a much larger system, with rhythms and cycles that are beyond our control. This connection helps us let go of the need to control everything and to trust more in the flow of life. The final frontier: active waiting versus resigned passivity. It is crucial to make a fundamental distinction. Knowing how to wait is not the same as being passive. Wisdom is not found in procrastination, laziness, or abdicating responsibility. That is not Stoic patience. It is resignation and apathy. The true art of knowing how to wait is a delicate dance between acceptance and action, between letting go and preparing. It is what we call active waiting. Passive waiting is sitting and hoping for things to happen. It is complaining about the lack of opportunities without going out to look for them. It is wishing for a better relationship without working on yourself to be a better partner. It is waiting for luck to knock on your door. Active waiting, on the other hand, is using the waiting period as a training ground. It is understanding that while the external outcome is out of your control, your preparation is entirely in your hands. Are you waiting for a job opportunity? Active waiting is refining your resume, networking, acquiring new certifications, practicing for interviews. Are you waiting for your business to grow? Active waiting is optimizing processes, listening to customer feedback, innovating your products, training your team. Are you waiting to recover from a broken heart? Active waiting is investing in therapy, reconnecting with friends, discovering new hobbies, focusing on your physical and mental well-being. Active waiting is about focusing on the process, not the prize. It's about finding meaning and purpose in the daily work, regardless of the final outcome. It transforms waiting from a period of anxiety into a period of immense personal growth. You become so engaged in becoming the best version of yourself that the outcome, when it arrives, is almost a natural consequence, not the sole objective. This distinction is what separates maturity from immaturity. The child waits passively for a birthday present. The mature adult works, saves, and plans to achieve their goals. Knowing how to wait actively is a sign of deep emotional and intellectual maturity. It is recognizing the limits of your control, but refusing to be a victim of circumstances. It is being the farmer who cannot make the sun shine or the rain fall, but who can plow the land, fertilize the soil, and remove the weeds, ensuring that when the right conditions arrive, his field is ready to flourish. So look at your life right now. Where are you waiting? And more importantly, how are you waiting? Are you in a passive wait, full of frustration and helplessness? Or are you in an active wait, using this time as a gift to strengthen, learn, and grow? The choice is yours. Conclusion: the peace found in the rhythm of the soul. We live in a world that idolizes speed, but true wisdom, lasting peace, and significant success are almost always found in the slow lane of life. Knowing how to wait is not a sign of weakness. It is the manifestation of immense inner strength. It is the confidence that things will unfold in their own right time. It is the humility to recognize that we do not control the universe. It is the intelligence to focus our energy where it can truly make a difference, in our own actions and attitudes. Every moment of waiting is an invitation. An invitation to breathe, to observe, to learn, to prepare. It is an opportunity to disconnect from the external noise and reconnect with your inner voice. By embracing the art of knowing how to wait, you stop fighting against the river of life and learn to flow with it. And in that flow, you find a grace, a lightness, and an effectiveness that haste can never offer you. Patience will not give you everything you want the instant you want it, but it will give you something much more valuable: the ability to be happy and productive no matter what is happening. It will give you yourself. And so, the challenge I leave for you today is this: identify one area of your life where impatience has been causing you suffering. Just one. And, in the coming days, try to apply one of the strategies we discussed. Breathe. Change your perspective. Practice active waiting. Observe what happens not just externally but within you. In what area of your life do you need to practice the art of knowing how to wait more? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's learn from each other and build a community that values depth over speed. Your journey is unique, and every step, no matter how slow it seems, is progress. Until next time.